Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for having a look if it's your first time viewing. Today we're continuing on with that M1A1 Abrams build, and I tried to get this video up yesterday but I ran out of time, so sorry it's a bit late, but nevertheless we'll continue on. So we've got the lower hull done, the main part of the turret, and just with the turret, the commander's hatch here, and it looks like I glued it on back to front, but this whole section rotates, so that could face any direction. So on this tank I've chosen to have that the hatch has been rotated to face rearward, and I'll just bring you over another turret here. You can see this one's facing forward. So, and then on another turret here we've got it off to the side on an angle. So that wasn't a mistake, that was done on purpose, but I mean a lot of people face them forward or have them closed, but I've chosen to reverse this one. So, all right, we'll continue on the build. So the next part we're going to look at doing is the barrel and the 50 cal section for the barrel that it mounts into. So we'll just cut that out. And once again, just tidy them up with a file or a hobby knife. And when it comes to mounting this, I find it a lot easier if you line it up with the diagram of the exploded drawing for mounting, and obviously the 50 cals on the left in that drawing, so we're going to mount it that way. And making sure that 50 cals on that left side. Awesome. And we're still using the Mr. Cement Deluxe for this build. Next we'll choose a barrel, and the 105 barrel is the short one, 120mm smooth bore is the bigger one, so we're going to use the bigger one. And I just go along and just tidy up as best I can and as careful as I can, because the way the barrel sits in where it was joined on that sprue will face up. And you can drill these barrels out, and we'll do that in another video where we, not this build, but when we build Abrams again, we'll do that, drilling out of the barrel. So the barrel has a flat edge, see there, and then in here there's a flat edge inside that hole there, and they just sit in together like that, and you'll have your forward sights and the main part of the fume extractor facing towards the sky. So that's how it sits in there, only going one way. So a bit of glue in there, we just line that up. And I find that when you put them in, it's best to try and raise the barrel a bit, so that barrel's raised, it's not flat, it's not on zero, it's sort of 10 degrees or 8 degrees in elevation. And the reason we do that is, I'll just bring in one of the other tanks here, is if it's any lower than sort of 2 or 3 degrees in elevation, when you rotate that turret around, it will actually catch across the back like that and won't smoothly pass across the engine deck. So good idea just to have them slightly elevated. On that angle, and then when it passes over that engine deck, it should pass across it. You can see the engine deck's a lot higher than the front. Now we'll move on to the machine guns. So there's 2 machine guns mounted on the vehicle. And we have 2 of each, so 2 50 cals and 2 smaller machine guns. And just be careful because they are tiny. I'll just pop that there. Well, they're thin in that barrel section. So I just get both of them out, and then I'll tidy him up with the hobby knife. Make sure I'm happy. And with this cupola, like I mentioned before, facing rearward, the machine gun's going to be facing a slightly different angle. Small hole. If I can get it in. There we go. And I'll do the same with the smaller 30 caliber machine gun. And I'll just hold them for a minute or so. And we can straighten that barrel slightly once it's set. Then moving on, we move back here to the rear. And this will mount across the back, and it's angled to fit that way, so you can see the shape. So you'll see that straight edge goes along the vehicle, back of the turret. And we'll set that down, let it dry for a sec, and then across the vehicle, depending on which one you're building, have a look at these 2 small boxes here, and we'll mount one of them on each side. And any flashing on them, I'll just tidy it up. And there's a little, you'll see just the tiniest little mark on the turret here where they sit onto. a little bit of glue. I always say a little bit and always put a lot on, don't I? Set them on one on each side. And they could have made those little lugs a little bit bigger, but so put them on there. And the stowage and stuff we'll look at doing after, same as the BTR 60 build. But that's it for my Abrams tank. And what we'll do is get a few more assembled and built, and then we'll get onto painting and priming. So there's still a few more things on the sprues that we'll look at, like this stowage stuff and a few extra bits and pieces. But that's the assembly of the Battlefront Team Yankee 15mm M1 Abrams and its variants. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.